Mm. Okay, so hey guys, welcome to actually episode 5 of TreeBark, and this is a creator interview. I'm really excited because we have a really awesome guest. His name is Fluke, and hey Fluke, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
And so to I don't know if you'd like to give a little tidbit about yourself to let people know like what you do. What are you about?
Yeah. My name is Fluke Husky. I am a furry YouTuber and dancer. That's like my two things that I do.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
I noticed yeah, you also have like your paws like dipped in a multitude of things actually, like from content creation, being a YouTuber. I noticed you stream quite a bit. I've also
I try.
seen some of your digital art. I myself am a digital illustrator in the fandom, and
Oh
I
yeah.
much respect. And I actually found you, from I think when Vine was a thing. I saw a couple of your fursuit dance videos. So
Okay.
yeah, you're also a fursuiter and a fursuit
Yeah.
dancer.
Okay. So first thing I want to clear up. So there are two Flukes. There is
Oh,
one Fluke,
okay.
which is the digital artist that you're talking about. And there's the other Fluke, which is me.
Oh,
I did used to draw back then, but I am not nearly as good as the OG Fluke.
the
the
OG
furry
Fluke.
artist Fluke that you're probably referencing. So just wanted to let you know.
Oh, are these two different people? Did I mix you guys up?
Well, you reached out to me probably about for YouTube. I think that's what you said in your email. So
Yeah, this
yeah,
is for the YouTube based podcast. Yes.
yeah, that's definitely me then.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay. But okay, so you obviously have like a lot of talents in a lot of these like content creation, and that's what like gets me really excited. So, did starting with just like one thing at least from dancing, like how did you get into that, which may have led to all these other
Yeah.
passions?
Oh gosh, how to answer? I guess to make it less general, like, do you want the answer like how did I get into furry dancing, or just how did I get into dancing in general?
Well, I guess yeah, you can start with just dancing in general as your just passion.
Okay, yeah. Well, I've always been like really expressive ever since I was a kid.
Mm.
But it was kind of difficult for me to be very expressive because my family is not as expressive as I am.
Mm.
So, but I didn't realize I didn't feel like oppressed by them or anything when I was a kid. So I was just like put on my favorite music and dance in the living room.
When
Like I
nobody's
remember
looking or anything.
no, actually, like right in
Oh.
front of everybody. Like
Oh,
when
okay.
my sister had her friends over, I remember this one time. I was like, "Oh, I want to show them my awesome dancing." So I put on some music and I just like thrashed around. And I remember how embarrassed my sister was. She's like, "Oh my god!"
But like
But
it wasn't like choreographed. You just
no,
wanted to express yourself
no,
and
I
just
was just
go
I was
at
just
it.
dancing for fun. And
Okay.
then like in middle school, I was like, "Okay, it's not cool anymore. I'm not going to dance."
Oh no.
Same with high school, and then like I wanted to take like some dance classes and stuff, but
Mm.
I don't know. I come from like a very I don't like saying the word, but like kind of conservative family where we don't really like dipping into those kind of things very well.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
could
I
definitely
didn't.
relate.
Yeah, it was difficult for me to kind of be myself, and I actually didn't. I didn't step into the persona, I guess, that I am today
Oh, okay.
until like a couple of years after I moved out, and
Oh,
that was when I
so
actually started like dancing.
and was that then around the same time? Like, did furry become a thing that you found out about that before or after dancing, or
I
a
was
combination?
I was like a closet furry for ever since I was like 14, 15. And
Mm-hmm.
then I moved out and then I was like, um, I can't remember. I was like, I want to get a fursuit. But I didn't have enough money for it. So I ended up like making one with a bunch of my friends. And then I had this dream to get into a dance comp. And then that was like the whole reason why I made this fursuit.
Oh, was
So
it like fursuit dancing specifically in a competition, or just like as a some way to like make
yeah,
a
yeah, it was like legitimately fursuit dancing. So I
oh
went to my first convention. I think it was like FC 2014 or something.
nice.
I didn't know anyone. It was super awkward, and I didn't really like it all that much. because I was kind of like attaching myself to the one friend that I had, but he wanted to go off and do his own thing. So, uh, but that was also the first time that I saw my first dance comp,
Mm.
and I like immediately fell in love with it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool! You can like dance to any song you want, and you literally have all eyes on you for 2 minutes on stage. I want to do this.
Yeah, I totally get that feeling because BLFC, not to rant too much, but BLFC was my first con actually, just
Oh
last
really?
year.
Oh,
And
it's such a good con.
yeah, and I have a few friends too here from Hawaii, and they were like, we got to go to the dance competition and at least like watch the suitors dance and do their thing. And I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't too big into dancing to begin with or anything, but we sat down and then I stuck through the whole competition. I wanted to see every single suitor, and like hearing the booming sound on the stage and everything was
Yeah.
so cool.
I love the dance comp. That's so much fun.
So you said you had a friend. You first met one of your friends that was in the fandom, or you discovered
Yeah.
they were, or
Yeah, so let's see. I was dating this guy from it was like a long distance relationship.
mm.
I so I was in the military actually, and I was stationed in South Dakota.
Oh wow.
And the game in South Dakota is not that great. So it was it was a lot easier for me to like be in a long distance relationship. And I was like, yeah, I could totally do this. So um, my friend and I, we've been talking back and forth for like years. We were like,
Mhm.
what? Let's just try it out. Let's try being in a relationship. Flew out to see him. He lives in California. Flew out to see him, and he took me to my first convention. And yeah, that was a really fun experience. But also, I felt like I was really clingy because I was kind of just like, I don't know anyone. Take me.
Yeah, it's definitely intimidating because it's like a whole new space. Like, did you feel like a lot of it like became more part of your life as you went on, and did you actually delve more into like using Telegram or FA or any of that like online
Yeah,
life?
yeah. So that's actually like the main resource that we used to communicate with one another was Telegram.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think like it started in DeviantArt, and then I branched off and then I discovered Fur Affinity, and then of course downward spiral from there.
Oh,
um,
nice. Okay.
yeah,
The so you did your first dance comp in 2014, and I guess like it just naturally progressed from there, and then you got to meet other dancers and whatnot. Um,
yeah,
do you sort of just take that home and you're gonna be like, because after my first experience, I was already like, okay, I want to make my own choreography. I want to pick one of my favorite songs and or covers or something like that, and I'm gonna make a routine to it.
yeah.
How did you sort of develop around that kind of thing?
Well, it took me forever because like I've never choreographed something before.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I feel like with me, like when I decide on something, I like to explain to people like my mind is like a switch. It's either I'm not interested in something and I don't do any I have nothing to do with it, or I'm completely like obsessed with it until, I'm up there on stage myself. So what I did, like I didn't have that much dance experience.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of used to being on stage, but I um I kind of like forced myself to like inherit these dance moves from my favorite choreographies on YouTube, and I
Were
kind of like
those other furries necessarily, or there was just other groups?
I did watch a lot of furries, but I mainly took a lot of my dance moves from like classic styles. Like I was a big fan of popping, so I watched a lot of like popping battles. Um, but I was mainly interested in like performances. So I actually watched like a lot of World of Dance,
Oh, nice.
which is like this dance show. Uh, and then yeah, I think I also watched like a bunch of compilation videos of like people dancing from dance schools, like from Million Studio, or there's like this dance school in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and they like release videos of them dancing to popular songs. So I would like watch that on repeat, and I would try to like replicate how they would dance too. Um, of course, I didn't like completely steal choreography, but when it came to like specific dance moves and stuff, I did like use a lot of different styles in my choreography. And then
Yeah.
I eventually like put together something that's 2 minutes long, and I actually was able to compete in a competition. And that was like the biggest accomplishment for me. I was like, okay, I can die happy now.
But actually, yeah, could you speak a little to that? Because like as a person who's like, yeah, I would say vaguely interested in at least doing a competition one of these years. Um, I heard like for the choreography, what is it about like making the narrative or kind of like making that 2 minutes of like a story? Like, how do you process that?
Um, well, I think it started off with like you just want to find your favorite song and then dance to like your favorite parts.
Mm,
Of course, you have to like edit the audio because you can't dance to a whole 4 minutes of a song.
yeah.
You gotta just cut the audio down to 2 minutes. Um, and then like when you're dancing on stage, you're just telling a story pretty much. Um, for me, I come from kind of like a theater background, so I'm all for like kind of interaction with the audience and kind of vibing off of them, and kind of telling a story as if it were like a play versus
Oh.
super dynamic dance moves like you see a lot of other dancers doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like my dance moves, like they're fairly simple, but they're very. I really plan to very well execute my dance moves
Yeah, they're
because it's
really
all
on
about
point.
stage presence, you know.
For
So that's
sure.
that's kind of what I come the angle that I come off with it with my dance choreography.
Oh, okay. And then I guess like I could see that becoming a thing where like you are recording yourself a lot, doing these dance moves and everything. And
Yeah, yeah, I do that a lot.
yeah, like I imagine it's good for reflection and stuff. Did that sort of like get you like dipped into YouTube? I almost said YouTubing. Is that a verb?
I guess YouTubing, yeah, you use that.
Yeah, like being a YouTuber and stuff like that. How does that kind of all blend in? Or how did you see
Um,
yourself?
I don't know. I've always been like interested in seeing how I look from the audience's perspective. Like my favorite videos are the videos that like people take of me when I'm on stage performing, and I can like
Yeah.
hear the audiences like reacting to certain moves.
Yeah, it's really
Um,
exciting.
yeah, so it's just kind of I guess that mindset where I always like to see myself from the other point of view. So I'm just like, oh, well, I could just take this and run with it and see what else I can do. So that was where I kind of got into doing YouTube videos.
Okay. And the mix, like how do you choose like what style of video you're gonna be doing? Because you do a multitude of different things from collabs to like meme reviews. I'm
Yeah.
personally a fan of. I really like those. um,
Meme review.
yeah, I love them. And like what gets you interested in that? Is that just like something to try? Like because I'm also figuring out a little bit about like, okay, what is the content that I'm gonna make, and I
Mhm.
find a lot of passion for, well, besides my art, for really engaging with other creators.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
how do you get into like that kind of space for with collaborating with people?
With like specifically collaborating with people
Um, I leave it kind
or
of
just
open
like in
ended.
general making YouTube videos.
Yeah, whatever you could speak on. I think that'd be really great. If
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so like how I come up with my ideas for YouTube videos is well, first off, I watch a lot of PewDiePie.
Oh hell
So
yeah.
he's like my biggest inspiration.
I think
It's funny because like I watched him a lot when I was a kid when he like played horror games, and then like I stopped because he started
same.
getting annoying.
Yeah, just from
Uh,
high school too.
yeah, and then like suddenly the whole T series versus PewDiePie thing came up, and I was like, wait, didn't I used to watch this guy when I was a kid? So I started like watching his videos again. And I was like, oh, this guy's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, and he's like
Um,
totally not doing the same thing that he did before. But
yeah, yeah, exactly. But I love it. Like I love the stuff that he does. So he's like my main inspiration for doing the stuff that I do, and him and like my other favorite YouTuber, Jenna Marbles,
oh yeah,
and
I love
they're like
jokes.
they're just hilarious people, and I'm like I want to be like them. I want to be funny. like them, and they don't really have to do anything specifically, just as long as they kind of play their characters in their videos. I
Yeah.
could just watch like anything that they do.
And
So I'm like, okay, I
that's
kind of want to
true.
incorporate that in my videos. So with me, the way that I kind of conduct myself in my videos is I'm not really making the video for the subject. I'm
Mhm.
making the video more for, or like, I'm not making it for the subject of the content. I'm making it more for like, how well can I tell this story?
And yeah, actually, you speak to a really interesting point that I'm thinking about now, because yeah, no matter the subject matter, it's more about the reaction or the experience, I think, of the person that you're watching.
Yeah, yeah,
That's really
I
cool.
completely agree. Because like, I think one of the videos was literally just me scrolling through my likes on Twitter. I was like, I think I even said I ran out of things to do, or I don't know what to do for this video, so I'm just gonna look through my Twitter like,
Hmm.
and that was a pretty fun video to do. I think I want to do more of those.
Yeah, one thing that I learned is super useful, because like Twitter is my main social media platform too.
Hmm.
And doing FMFs, I call them like also, yeah, furry meme reviews. But it's because it's so topical. It's such a good thing to cover every week, because like there's always fresh dank
There's always new
memes.
memes. Yeah.
Exactly. So one thing is really helpful is on Twitter, you can make lists. I never really knew this, but
Hmm.
if you follow specific channels, you'll only get a feed of that and not just a flurry of like your
Oh,
regular followings and whatnot. So it's
well, that's
super
fun.
good.
So like, you can get like furry memes.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
there are a lot of dank furry meme channels. There are no
Oh
shortages.
man. Okay, you gotta send me some. I gotta review them.
Oh yeah, I can link you some. Okay.
I'm always like looking for like good furry memes.
Yeah. Reddit's also a good source, but I found that's kind of hectic sometimes with the lewds, if that's
Oh yeah,
that's a problem.
yeah. I just turned off not safe for work,
Yeah.
but
Um,
sometimes yeah, that cropped GIF gets in there.
how is so how has been like uh collaborating with like some of the other furry YouTubers? I think, I guess, well, one might notably is like Majira, or some of the other furs that you go and meet at cons.
Yeah. It's
How does that
awesome.
work?
Like I was so happy to collaborate with Majira and Glitch and everyone. I think like I don't know, we were kind of like passing friends
Mm-hmm.
before, and then um, they start noticing that I'm also like uploading videos, and I love the YouTube furry community because everybody just like supports each other because we all understand the grind,
Oh
how
yeah.
difficult it is to like shoot a video of you in fursuit and then like sit there in front of your computer for like 4 to 8 hours just editing. So like we all feel for each other, and we're all like, I'm here to support you, and you want to do a collab? Hell yeah, let's do a collab. So that was what I think that's how I ended up with Majira. But I'm thinking about like the first time that I did a collab with Majira. It was actually a dance video.
Oh.
So um, Majira found me through like my dancing. I was like doing this dance comp at Denver, and I think that was
Mm-hmm.
like where we first ran into each other. And I was like fanboying. I was like, oh, Majira, and I was like, oh, we should do like a video together. And he was like, okay. So right there on the spot, we did like a flossing video together. And that was
Oh,
back when
oh,
like
cool.
flossing like wasn't a big thing, so it wasn't like super cringed on. It was
Mm-hmm.
like slightly cringed on, so it was still kind of cool. So I was like, yeah, I did a cool thing with Jira. And then after that, we just like kind of talked every once in a while, and then um, I found that he was doing like this video. It was like a furry music video or something, and he was accepting um, videos of people dancing. I was like, oh, that's my thing. Like that's what I do. So I took a video of me dancing to this song, and I sent it to him, and he put it in his video. I was like, wow, awesome. And then ever since then, it just kind of started building. We started talking more, and then we are now like putting each other in our each other's videos, and it's cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it sounds like a very natural, like, it's cool to see, yeah, content creators, of course, like, see, like, oh, of course, I want to make more content. I want to, enjoy and entertain some more. So it's like really like
Yeah,
supportive. Um,
yeah.
Do you ever like kind of, I guess, picking at that or unboxing that, like, do you ever feel like there's a greater sense to, entertain and put on a good show over like maybe how you may feel at times, and how do you sort of balance that like work personal life aspect?
To me, it's kind of like an outlet. So it's not of like it's not like I'm doing it because it's a job or I'm doing it because I'm required to or something. I do it because it feels good. Like once I put
Mm-hmm.
something out that I put this much effort into.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, then I feel like I've always been doing that. Just like before, people haven't been recognizing my work. But now people are starting to recognize it, and I'm like, oh, cool. So now I can actually like make stuff, and people like it.
Yeah, and well, do you I personally get this quite a bit. Like, is there an equivalent of like like YouTuber or dancer art block? Is there something equivalent to burnout or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. um, it's you just get tired of dancing. Like like I don't know. I always dancing isn't, or I guess any skill in general. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And if
Oh,
you want
that's
to
a good
be
point.
better at anything, you gotta think of it as like, okay, this is going to be a lifelong thing that I have to always be working at. So with dancing, um, for me, I feel like over time it's becoming more and more of like a chore. I'm just like, all
Oh,
right, let's prepare for this next dance comp. Let's go. I gotta put together a routine, find a song. Um,
kind of formulaic.
yeah, I kind of form a relay, and like I feel like before it was more spontaneous, but also um, it's not really like a job for me. It's always been something that I've wanted to do. So it is like a big chore to put something like that together,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also like it's such a high reward for doing it, I guess.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. I guess cuz yeah, it's yeah, like you said, it's not a job. It's something you're looking forward to doing to share and express at that time. I mean, like for me, like one of the things that I kind of treat it as is like a vacation, at least from like my regular day job and stuff. Like it's
Yeah,
not, yeah, I don't do this every day, but I set aside this time to really like pour my heart out and like get better at this thing, this skill that I'm developing.
right.
And I guess that's just like making me think now, like where does that like put you like thinking about the future? Is the furry fandom like, I've heard this thing too from Nuka, speaking of Paradox earlier, about kind of the science behind people who join the fandom
Mm,
and what the stats are. And it seems like there's this trend that, where a lot of furries will find the fandom to like get more friends and become more social. And then it's a phase, and it's a phase where once they have the secured friends, they're fine, and then they can actually like kind of let loose more on the fandom. But
mhm.
others, though, after a certain age, I think it was around 30 or 40, they're more rooted in the fandom. Like, where do you see yourself going in terms of like relation to the subculture?
Um, I definitely want to like help people kind of have the same positive experience that I've had with the furry fandom. Because I
Yes.
feel like there's like a lot of bad stories out there, or like people just have bad experiences. But I want to be able to like help out as much as I can to kind of like shed, I guess, just a good influence over like anyone that comes into the fandom. So, like for example, I would love to foster the dancer fur community a lot more because I love seeing furries performing. So I've been like staffing different dance events. I judged for Biggest Little Fur Con,
Oh, nice.
and I also put together like a floor wars for Further Confusion, and I
What's a
also
floor
hosted
war?
that. So floor wars is like it's like a dance battle event. So instead
Okay.
of people going up on stage and performing for 2 minutes, you have to freestyle dance against one opponent for about 45 seconds, and there's 2 rounds.
Ooh.
And you're dancing in front of 3 judges. And at the end of those 2 rounds, the judges will like, point to the left or right for whose dancer they thought should move on to the next round, and then you move on to the next round, and it's kind of like a tree hierarchy, I guess.
Oh,
And
okay. I can picture that.
yeah, so you just kind of like it's kind of like a dance battle royale.
Oh, so you're
As
not necessarily like planning out the moves or anything like with a song. You just are just freestyling.
yeah, it's all freestyle.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, I've kind of moved more into that aspect of dancing and
Hmm.
less choreography, because I love freestyling and seeing because I feel like the competition at Floor Wars is so much more hype than
Oh
than
yeah.
the dance competition. Yeah, because like literally the stage is down in the middle and everybody's surrounding it,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's less of like it's more crowd involved. It's less
Yeah, not super
performance.
formal, I guess. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Um,
fun. Like if you go to like MFF, you should definitely go to Floor Wars. That's like one of the biggest events that they have going.
and is there like a screening for that, or is it you just show up and you can start performing?
You have to sign up beforehand because there's such high demand to compete. Uh, I think signups open several months beforehand, and you have to like sign up with a team and everything.
Oh,
Um,
actually, yeah, I guess there would be a few thousand people that you would have to go through.
yeah, well, I think I can't remember the numbers, like how many people tried out, but it was quite a few. Like once they opened up for, I can't remember how they handle signups, but there's definitely like a huge demand to want to compete in Floor Wars.
Hmm. What are some of your favorite cons from BLFC to MFF? Like, there's a whole plethora in between.
Oh gosh, I really like the smaller cons. So I think um
Because I heard
oh,
AC
I
is
was
like one of the largest, and I don't know if that's a good
AC.
recommendation for earlier
A-
furs.
AC is really fun. I had a lot of fun at AC. I think, oh man, I was gonna say Denver would have been my favorite, but I think that Biggest Little Fur Con is still my all-time favorite con.
Nice.
Um, but I do like the smaller cons because I don't. Um, there's a bit of stress that comes with like planning to compete, and I do like a lot of shows at bigger conventions, so it's gotten to the point where I do show after show after show, and everything like I can't drink the night beforehand, and I have to like make sure I'm eating healthy and everything.
Yeah.
So I want to be my best self on stage.
Yeah, be at the top of
So
your game.
yeah, so it gets a little bit stressful. MFF was really stressful because I had like dance comp and also floor wars, and then um, just a lot of things going on. But I like the smaller conventions because I can literally just kick back and just actually hang out with friends for once.
Yeah, that's really nice. Like, well, at least I guess coming from like my view, like a lot of people make this an event where they don't get to see a whole lot of people, and this is like their once a year like con, so they're gonna go and hang out and float around with friends.
Yeah,
It sounds like you're working the whole time actually, but you put on a
yeah,
really good show, so I appreciate that. Um,
yeah,
have you you said you've staffed at other cons and you've helped volunteer before?
yeah. So um, and I also like listened to your previous interview, and I can't remember
Oh,
what his name was.
which one was this?
I think it was you might have linked it. No, you didn't link it to me. I just looked it up. I think it's
Uh,
your most recent one.
oh, okay. If that's
Um,
number 4, that was with Paradox. Yes, he is
yeah, with
a
Paradox.
producer.
Yes. I listened to that one, and that was a good interview.
Oh, thank you.
Um, but he was explaining how like when you do something that you're passionate about in the fandom, um, whether it be like AV or dancing or I don't know performing or something, you I feel like you do it for a couple years and then you get recognized, and then
Hmm.
the convention will eventually have you on staff. Um, and
Unbeknownst
that's
to
just
you. Yeah.
yeah, and you don't realize that you're staff until you're staff, and you're like, oh, all right, I'm staff now. That's pretty much what's kind of happened with me. I won a dance comp, and then I won a Floor Wars, and then the convention was like, "Oh, can you uh, can you be our judge for the next Floor Wars?" And I was like, "I'd be honored." And then same for one of the dance comps that I won. They want me to judge for the dance comp. Um, so I've judged multiple different dance comps and Floor Wars, and it is fun. But
Mm-hmm.
I also like to compete. So it's always this every convention. It's always this like battle of, okay, I'm gonna be like staffing this event, and then I'm gonna compete here, and then I'm gonna staff there,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're also like juggling, want to hang out with friends and stuff.
Do you think that the fandom has like changed over time in the way that like you've experienced it? Um, in terms of like the community and the people that are now in the fandom. I always see like that there are a lot of younger generations joining the
Yeah,
fandom.
there's so many
Um,
kids.
yeah, I go to when well my first con last year I went to BLFC and I'm seeing these little suitors. I'm like, oh, it's so cute. Um,
Yeah.
and you find a lot of parents and they're really supportive, and I think that that scene kind of changed a lot. Um, how have you observed this?
So I didn't start going to conventions until, well, my first one was 2014, but the next one I went to was 2016. So I'm still like, I've only been formally going to conventions for about
Mm-hmm.
4 years. So there's definitely like a difference between online furry culture and in real life furry culture.
Yeah, I agree to that.
So yeah. Um, but when it comes to like in real life furry culture, over the past couple of years, I've definitely seen like a lot more kids.
Yes.
And I think that's awesome. Like, that's really cool that kids are attending conventions with their parents. Like, they're literally the next generation of furries, and
That is
um,
true.
I want to set as good of an influence as I can on them.
And
Um,
there's like this future like they're going to be the next creators, the next dancers, the next people who
yeah,
yeah,
the next
really
staff.
carry the community. Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's cool that we have a lot of younger generation that come to the convention, but it also makes it kind of difficult for some of the adults that are into more like the kinky stuff to be able to, I guess, be themselves. So I feel like when it, for example, I think it was Anthro Northwest, they're
Mm.
a completely family friendly con. So you can't, I,
What
I can't speak for them, but I don't know
what's
if they,
the restriction like?
I think, um,
Cuz
oh gosh.
I have seen a bit of controversy on like things from the gear, like harness suits or
Yeah,
like
I'm not,
pup hoods. I don't know if that's censored over there.
yeah, that's what I was going to get to. I'm not sure if pup hoods were censored or not. But, I think maybe rubber and whatnot, can't walk around with rubber. Um,
Like obviously yeah, no nudity or anything like
yeah.
adult content, but do you think that that does shape the community in a way that's like preferable or like fair and open? um I've
Um,
seen a lot of polarizing opinions on that kind of thing before.
yeah, I mean, I don't have too strong of an opinion on it, but I do think that, um, being able to fully express yourself in the fandom is healthy, but also there should be a point where we should draw the line.
Yeah,
And I
okay.
think it's good that we have conventions that kind of exercise both ends of the spectrum, where you have Anthro Northwest and Anthrocon that are very family friendly, and they're like, they restrict a lot of things. And they also have Biggest Little Fur Con,
Hmm.
which it's literally in like a casino. So you're kind of expecting the crowd to be a little bit older because casinos 21 plus and
It's
everything.
an adult environment essentially.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the direction that we're going, just as long as the conventions are able to kind of cater to both audiences, both family and the more kinky or, I guess, audience of the furry fandom.
Yeah, and I think they do that well because I've seen a couple of panels. They'll have late night 18 plus ones about like rope tying or something else like kinky or
Yeah.
enlightening about certain fetishes or and whatnot. What has I mean, what would you recommend to new people who would be going to a con? Like what are some things to keep an eye out for?
Um, I think like it depends on what you want to go there for. Like if you want to go there to just see a fursuiter for the first time,
Hmm.
or then, or if you want to like bring your family or something, or your parents, you should definitely go to Anthrocon because that's a really family friendly kind of convention.
Okay, yeah, if
But
you want to see giant cuddly people, that'd be awesome.
yeah, but if I don't know if you've been like on Telegram a lot and like I don't know I don't want to say older, but you have like a lot of experience with the art. I don't really know where I'm going with that.
No, but
I
that's
was gonna
fine.
say
No,
I was
you
gonna
bring
give
up a
reasons
no, you bring
on
up a
why
really
you should
good
go to
point.
Biggest Little Fur Con,
All the
but
reasons, that's why.
yeah, it's
But
such a fun con. But yeah, it's definitely more adult than
yeah,
other conventions.
just given the environment, like you said about the gambling and 21 plus, like there's even a bar for crying out loud. That's a really good space.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like the I guess one of the things that a lot of like that you brought up of about going to cons is like the intention. If you want to see cuddly people, you said go to AC. Very friendly. And I think I had never really thought about that before. Like, what's my intention when I go to a fur con? I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
I just wanted to experience it all, honestly, and that's like in part also why I do this podcast. Like, I wanna like get into every facet, and I want to learn every aspect about the subculture. Because one of the interesting things too about our community, rather than like you could say like we have this other local convention called KawaiiCon.
Mm,
It's an anime convention, and there are a lot of those, and like there's Comic-Con and these other really big industries, but they all kind of circulate around having like this medium. Like there's either like this favorite character like Naruto, or some weeby kind of like thing. Like
mm,
I'm not dissing that. I'm a huge weeb. I love anime,
mhm.
like BNNH, and like there's some kind of like fandom over that specific thing, but what differentiates us is just having this culture and this community. So it's like I heard this one person describe it once as like when they're being spoken to about like how do you define furry, and they said it's kind of like clay. You grab a bunch of it and then you just make something of your own, and that's what I really think is inspiring.
Yeah, that is really interesting. That's I definitely recognize that between like furry fandom and other subcultures is we are very like we make our own characters instead of we try to be like other characters. Um,
Exactly, yeah.
we have a lot of like artists and creators in our fandom that come from that, and I think that's really cool.
Nice. Okay.
Sorry, my chair is like super squeaky.
I know, I gotta put like WD-40 in mine too.
Is
Fix
that
it.
it? Is that all I have to do? And then I'll get rid of the squeakies?
Yeah, they have like silicone based WD-40 that like lasts forever.
Oh my gosh. I even have some WD-40. I'll
No,
have to
because
use
like
it.
that's one of the things that I worry about too. It's like, oh no, I'm shooting a video. I don't want to squeak all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. That's like my struggle. Like every single YouTube video I do, whenever I lean back in my chair, it like makes a noise.
Yes, it's like anxiety. It's like, eh. But
Mhm.
okay, so I make side tangent, but like sort of dipping back into like the creator space.
Yeah.
So this is all like purely more of a hobby for you. You don't necessarily do this full time.
Mm-mm. Yeah. It's definitely like it's a hobby thing. And I honestly would be afraid to make it a full-time job because fun fact, I wanted to major in art when I was graduating high school.
Okay.
And uh, I'm not gonna say my parents like convinced me out of it, but they were like, um, your whole life you're gonna be like always looking for work, always looking for commissions, always
Mhm.
grinding to
Mhm.
try to try to make art and make ends meet. Um, are you prepared for that? And I thought about it like really hard. I was like, well, this is my passion, but I don't know if I want to deal with that kind of grind. And I think the same goes for YouTube. I don't know if, like, maybe if it takes off really well, maybe. but I would be really nervous to depend my salary on what I create. Because what if like in for a whole 3 months I just have artist block and I'm just like, I don't want to make
Mhm.
videos. I'm burnt out. I just want to stop.
That's def
That's Then my paychecks will stop coming in, and then it gets even worse.
like that's the thing when you're your own company, right? Like you're making your own money, you're your own income, and when you stop, the company stops. That's that's
Yeah.
really scary.
Yeah, I guess it's just part of being your own boss. And I also haven't learned a lot of good discipline for being my own boss, because when I start editing my videos, I literally like sit there for 8 hours. Like, I only get up to use the restroom. I don't eat. I don't do
That's the
anything
kind of
else.
focus I love, though.
Y- Yeah, it's nice, but it's also like unhealthy because
Mm.
I'm just like, once I'm done editing, I'm really accomplished and it's like awesome, and I can post this tomorrow. But then I look outside and the sun's gone, and like my boyfriend has gone to bed, and I'm like, oh man, I feel like I've missed out on life.
But yeah, you brought up a really good point though too about like, oh, what happens if I'm just not feeling it? What if I'm not in the mood?
Hmm.
And when you're making art, it's definitely when you're expressing yourself at, I would say, at your core, and that's not something you can really commoditize all the time.
Right.
Um, the that is something that my boyfriend actually like spoke to me about briefly too, and is like, because I mean, just TLDR, like I have a day job. I work mainly as a like custodian. I do that for the library system. It's a state gig, and
Uh,
it floats the the daily bills and the mortgage and stuff. Um, but it's definitely not where my heart lies, and that's where I do often aspire and get inspired by like creators like you guys, um, who do set aside some time to pursue like your passions, and
yeah.
seeing the main thing that like is like so like jaw dropping to me is like the consistency, the quickness and the speed, and that's like what I'm trying to build up and learn actually right now. So
Yeah.
if it's doing something weekly, if it's this podcast, or if it's putting out a commission maybe every other day, that's like what I want to be on top of, and that was like a huge like 2020 goal of mine.
Yeah. Consistency. It's super important. I agree. Like, I watch PewDiePie and he posts every single day, but not now
Hmm.
because he's on his break.
Actually, yeah,
But
what a coincidence.
um, yeah, but this is like his first time taking a break in what, 10 years? It's crazy.
Damn,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that guy posts every single day, and every single time that he posts, it's this video that's like, it's heavily edited, it's it's hilarious and it's relevant, and I don't know how he does it. So I feel like my bar is set really high, and
Hmm.
I want to get to the point where I can like do 3 videos a week. But I really, like, my days are so packed, I only have time to do one video a week.
Because you're doing school, you're studying, you're
Yeah.
yeah, you're pursuing your other career. That can be
Yeah.
really stressful, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
not to
school.
mention relationship and all that stuff too.
Right.
That's I find that like it's also like a bit I get a bit barky when I'm focusing on something, and then like I'm like, "Oh, I ignored the bay. I got to go do
Yeah.
relationship stuff," and it's not it's like
Yeah.
something I always got to remind myself to, even living with family. Like you realize like maybe your time's not always your own, and I'm trying to like respect that a bit more.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm being consistent enough that I can block off times of a day that I can do my videos and then edit my videos,
Mhm.
and I actually complete my videos within that block of time. And that's like, um, because I only go to school on certain days, I have like one of these days completely off. So I use that day just to edit.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm done editing by the time the boyfriend gets home, so it um, doesn't interfere with my relationship or anything.
Oh, so you already have like this, like like a set schedule in like throughout the week. You're looking forward to this block of time that you can get everything done.
Yeah, so I film on Tuesday, and then I edit Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I post on Thursday.
And you even stream, don't you? Right?
Well, I tried streaming once, but it was I don't know. It wasn't that great.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
I am actually like planning to stream tomorrow for charity,
Oh, nice.
but I'm also really nervous because like doing things for money,
Well,
like
what
straight up.
charity?
What's up?
What's the charity?
It's for ALS research. So this
Oh,
is
wonderful.
for Mark Sparks' dad. He actually just recently came down with ALS, and
Mm.
really bad news. But Mark has kind of been rounding all of the furry creators up, and we've all been streaming.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
I think out of a $15,000, or out of like a $10,000 goal, we've already raised, I think $7,000 plus.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try my part and try streaming for the first time and see if anybody shows up and donates.
That's really cool. I think like no matter what you say or what anybody says about the fandom, charity and love is definitely one of the biggest parts of the furry culture. Like I every con I always see like fundraising goals and charity streams like being crushed. Um like people always give what they can. And that's really awesome. So I guess I hate to take up more of your time because I know time is limited. So thank you
Fine.
for being a guest here on TreeBark. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Um, are
definitely.
are there any last plugs or anything that you like to let your followers know or any of your friends know?
Um, Make sure to subscribe to Theo because
Oh,
his podcasts are awesome.
oh God,
and then
thank you.
you guys know where to find me. I'm over on my channel. So
You guys go check out Fluke. He's awesome and he's a good boy and he's got the curl and you gotta respect the curl.
respect the girl.